Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at wonderful Spa Francorchamps. I'm Austin. I am joined in the commentary box by Dane Baird with Sammy Kumo up there in the production box, giving you all these fantastic graphics, images, cameras, and the best overlay here on Apex Racing TV. Dane, how are you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Austin. I'm doing pretty good. Loving this iRacing Formula 3.5 overlay we've got here on Apex Racing TV. It's looking fantastic, but looking forward to a good race here at the Spa Francorchamps. Last season provided a great race, and we've got some good drivers to hopefully repeat what we saw last season.
Yeah, last season we had a driver get his first ever win, and I can tell you he's back for more because James J. Pinkster is back in the field right now. Drivers are just starting to come across the line right now. Delisle setting up the fastest time. Domingo in second place with Pinkster dropping down to third. Calvo jumping up to the fourth. Ilbrink Longa in there. There's some new names we got in here and some old names, classic names that we got. But it is going to be very, very exciting to see how these guys carry on today.
Yeah, of course, we've got champion Tim Delisle. He's hopefully going to be dominant as always for his books, but last season we saw him make some mistakes and he wasn't as good at Spa Francorchamps as we've seen from him in other circuits. But James J. Pinkster in 6th position. He'll be looking to build on his win from last season. He'll be looking to try and improve from his recent performances, and hopefully we'll have a good race here at Spa.
Yeah, it was kind of a race of attrition at the very start of the race for James, and then it was just strategy and how he could keep on without making enough mistakes. As mistakes is what killed Delisle, really. So the first lap here, first opening laps are going to be very crucial, especially at the top of Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, we saw a couple of drivers last season on cold tires spinning up at Eau Rouge and Radion, and it's going to be interesting to see if they learn from their mistakes and how they can try and combat the cold tires at the start of the race. It's always tricky with these new tire model version 7 cars. With the starts, you've got super cold tires, very little grip, and Eau Rouge is where you really need that grip.
Yeah, and even with a car that produces so much downforce, you still gotta struggle with the grip and everything. So it's gonna be very interesting on see how these guys deal with that from a standing start. Piatella jumping into second place. Delisle just forcing down his lap with an even faster lap, 159.144. Manuel Domingo jumps up into third with a 159.464. And Jose Longa jumping up into second place with a 159.393.
It's a very fast lap from Langer there. We see Pinkster down in 7th place, also managing to just tip him for 6th. As we can see, Dominic there in 2nd place. He's gonna just 1/100th of a second faster than Langer there, and it's a very quick lap from him, but still 2/10 slower than Tim Delisle. And as Herbano then gets into 4th position.
Yeah, the rest of the guys just finishing both their laps. We're trying to find somebody who is not done their second lap right now, and that would be Ivan Fernandez. He's currently sitting down to 16th. First lap was invalidated. So let's see on how he's going to carry through right now. Going through the final bus stop chicane, coming down the front straight, closes down DRS. Fernandez jumps up into 12th.
It's very close at the top of the field. Tim Delisle and then 2/10 down, but after that, a lot of drivers in the 1 second mark and down to Erka Lindstrom in 13th place. So the top 13 drivers all separated by a second, and should make for some good racing here. As we see Pietala going for, is this his second or his third lap?
This is second.
It's his second.
He had a late start, but he's been setting a lot of purple laps. This is going to be good. Up into second place at the end, at the margin, 159.152. Just barely missing out on Delisle, but that secures him for another front row start by 8 thousandths of a second. Wow. Tim Delisle takes pole ahead of Martí Piatella. Dominic Gadamari in third with Jose Longa in fourth, followed by Christopher Hermano, Manuel Domingo, Paul Ilbrick, Greg Olson, James J. Pinkster, Danny R. Calvo, Edward A. Samborski, Ivan Fernandez in 12th place. And in 13th, that is Erica Lindstrom, Rob Bohr, Phil Reed, Rob Crouch, Alexandre Nukoki-Sion, Theodore Burns, Jorge Exposito, Omar Baja, and Rinaldo Augusto at the back of the field. Baja and Augusto did not set a lap time. But wow, 8 thousandths separate them on pole. What do you think about that, Dane?
Yeah, that's a really small margin. It's barely even noticeable. If they were running side by side, I don't think we'd be able to pick them out, a winner out of those two. But it's gonna make for an interesting race. Finally, someone can challenge Tim Delisle. He's had a good season so far, and we'll have to see how he does in the race. But further down the field, we've got Paul Ilbrink starting back in 7th, and he'll be looking for sure to get some moves done at the start of the race.
Well, the start here at Spa is always iconic and can be very dangerous. You know, not only do you have the first hairpin, that tight right-hander, almost 180-degree turn, and then it's followed up by the dangerous El Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, the run into the source is very short, so not very fast, but the cars are going to be very close together, and it's very tight, as you said, and there's not much room for error, especially if you get a bit wide on the curbs. But we're going to start as the lights start to come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, the revs are high because we're going green flag racing here at Spa for the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. And what a start from Martí Piatella. He's got the car lead already on Tim Delisle, and they're going 3 wide, 4 wide, and there's a spin, and there's a car upside down.
That's Greg Olson there, and looks like he is out of the camera shot now, but he looks like he is possibly going to retire from this race. That was a massive accident there. Tim Delisle leads as they come up the hill for the first time, and there's some drivers looking to make some moves. We've got Ganamaya going around the outside of Petula, and he's going to go up into first position. Can he hold it as they come down into Lecombe?
Lecombe is a massive draft part, but Gadamar is in first place, being followed by Piatella and Delisle and Langa, your top 4. As the rest of the field is trying to navigate through these tight, twisty turns as they're starting to come down into the Spa Forest.
Another bad start at Spa for Delisle there, managing to get back up into second place as they go side by side through No Name Corner, and they seem to be going single file down the rest of the pack. Maybe some moves into Buon, but it looks like everyone thinks the better of it. Some cars going wide there, and it looks like Olsen has retired back to the pit lane.
Now, horrible start for Olsen, got flipped upside down, but what great racing we got going on right now. Jose Longa in 5th place, side by side with Domingo, and he's still trying to send it up the inside right there. Oh, big crash. That's Rob Bohr sideways. Return back up to Longa. Got a car way off the track. That's Manuel Domingo as they're going almost 3 wide as they're heading up through Blanchemont.
Don't want to be going 3 wide through Blanchemont. That is not a good place to go side by side at the best of times. Never mind 3 wide, and we're going to see them come down to the bus stop chicane.
Oh, and so orderly going into there.
Briefly moves up into 3rd, but Domingo misses out on this occasion.
So at the end of the first lap, it's Gadamar, Delisle, Longa, Domingo, and Piatella, your top 5.
Look at that gap between 2nd place of Delisle and 3rd place of Langa. It's about 3 seconds there. That's going to be crucial because they're out of draft range. It's going to be difficult for the cars to catch that time back up as we see
this is going to be crazy. Piatella sends up the inside, heading into El Rouge and Radion, and makes a great move on Christopher Hermano, and now he's going to try to shoot the moon. There's a 2-car gap. He's trying to force his way into the middle of Langa and Domingo. Piatella has nowhere to go.
Yeah, they shut the door on that 3 wide very quickly. They definitely didn't want to go 3 wide in the run down to Lecombe. But it's a really bad start from Piatella. He's gone from 2nd down to 6th. And Yeah, he's going to have to try and make his way back up through the field, and it might even be 7th as Paul Ilbrink has a look around the outside, but it's not going to work this time round.
Yeah, the car has so much grip on the inside as well through that corner, and Ilbrink is just dancing on the gearbox of Piatella, who just can't seem to find a break right now. Piatella going wide at the end of Puwan, and Paul Ilbrink looking for that move. But Piatella swings ahead of him and holds him off as they reach Village.
This is going to be interesting. If he gets a good exit now, he's going to have a long run down towards Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. It'll be interesting to see if he can make a move here, as they're losing some time now.
Ilbrink had a good run coming out there, but he was just scrubbing off those tires a lot. That's going to hurt him in the long run. Also, don't count out James J. Pinkster right behind him. He's just biding his time as let's look up ahead in the battle for third. Longa and Domingo going side by side. Longa, though, going straight for the apex and holding off Domingo. Nope, that is Domingo and Hermano.
You can see our leaders in this race. The gap is slightly decreasing now. Longa's trying to catch up, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. We can see Delisle not yet making a move on Gadamai, but I'm sure he's going to make a move as we come down this Kemmel straight towards Lecom. 4/10 away is DRS being used by our drivers. It looks like Gadamai might be using DRS there, but we can see here Herbano looking for a move around the outside, and the door is shut firmly by Domingo.
Doors being slammed shut. Erica Lindstrom and Pinkster in a good battle. Pinkster just swung around the outside of Lecombe. Yeah, I thought he was going to run off the track right there, but he held it right there and to hold off for 8th place.
Tim Delisle right on the gearbox of Gadamai further up the field. We've also got Herbano on the gearbox of Domingo, but this is Tim Delisle chasing down Gadamai. Just over 1/10 as he goes and looks for a move. They go side by side through the right, through the left-hander, and Tim Delisle makes that move stick, but he's going to have a tough time now as they run up towards Blanchimont, and he seems to have made a pretty good gap, but now Gadamai is under threat from Langer. You see Tim Delisle taking the inside defensive line. Gadamai trying to go around the outside. He is ahead, but will he be able to hold it? He will.
But who's going to have the better exit? Because look at that. Longa has joined them, but Delisle had the better exit. He looked like Gadamai had a bit of oversteer coming out of there and a bit of wheel spin, giving him a very bad wiggle. Delisle looking down the inside. Gadamai was trying to swing around the outside of the source, but still on the exit. It is Delisle ahead, but here comes Longa from out of nowhere. Longa is going to jump from third all the way into first from one corner.
Yeah, fantastic move from Longa. He saw his opportunity and he just held back a little bit, let them go side by side and compromise each other's exits. And we see now Delisle come straight back, and Gadamai is also going to make a move. Are they going to go 3 wide?
Oh, looks like they're going to go 3 wide. Gadamai's looking for it, but he's staying back and actually breaking a bit early, almost as Domingo takes him out. And there's a massive crash in the back. James Pinkster is in the back, and we got a car pitchforked into the air.
Massive incident here. This is involving at least 5 cars, I think, and this car's backwards, and that's not what we want to see there. It looks like it's just been touched there
James
by Domingo.
So Gadamai, this all started with him braking a little bit early, and then a car behind him just carried a lot too much speed, not expecting him to brake with there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, 6 cars. Do we get a 7th car involved? Yes, we do.
Oh, that's a massive incident there. Pinkster obviously not noticing there was a car on his outside, and he's spun off into the wall. He's down into 19th position. We can see Paul Ilbrink also caught up in that incident, down in 13th position. This has shuffled our order up massively. So we see Pietala taking massive advantage of that. He's up into 3rd position.
Yeah, third and down is as scrambled as I like my eggs. This field is absolutely jumbled up. What a crazy start to this race. Biggest mover so far is Ronaldo Augusto, who just got his 14th place from the back of the grid. Also, Rob Crouch is up 10 spots as well.
Yeah, we've also got Lindstrom up.
Oh, we got 2 cars spun!
That's the car of Omar Baha. And it also looks like Burns with the 2 cars involved. We'll have a look at the replay and see if there was some contact maybe, or if it was just a simultaneous spinning.
Well, Baja's got a lot of speed heading through the bus stop. Oh my goodness, Baja just plowed into him.
Some cars making pretty good evasive action there. I saw Rob Bohr threading the needle between the 2 of them. There's also some other cars held up with that incident.
Very unfortunate for Burns right there. In just 5 laps, we've had so many ups and downs in this race. So many downs for Greg Olson, Gademeyer, Pinkster, Herberto, and Phil Reed are, well, biggest hits of the race. But the biggest movers so far, Augusto, Crouch, Lindstrom is up 9 spots. Exposito is up 8 spots right now. But Tim Delisle, the name you know and love, is still in the lead.
Yeah, and him and Langer have got a 5-second gap to Pietila in 3rd. Pietila's got Lindstrom right on his tail, just 2 tenths separate them. And they're going to be slowing each other down as they battle. And that 5-second gap is only going to become bigger. You can see a really scrambled grid here. Everyone is lost and gained positions massively from where they started. And we've got a good race on our hands here.
An excellent race indeed. A good race for the lead, a good race for the final podium spots, and a great race in the midfield. Playing a new fastest time of the race, 2 minutes 8.5, which is just 0.02 of a second faster than Tim Delisle. Well, as I said that, Delisle just set the new fastest lap of the race. Nope, he didn't. It's so close between these 2.
Yeah, there's not much separating them, but Langer's going to have to play catch-up here. He's a second behind. If he gets any further than that, he's going to lose out on that slipstream from Tim Delisle in front, and that's going to be very difficult to catch back up because Delisle, you know, he's very fast and very consistent, doesn't usually make mistakes, and it's very difficult to catch him once he gets away from you. You can see the field, we've got some battles developing.
Some battles through the field, especially the battle for 4th place between Samborski and Lindstrom. Also, another battle we got going on is Alexander Yukugassian and Exposito, who's also in a battle with Fernandez.
Yeah, it's a three-way battle for 9th position here.
Yeah, they got Domingo right behind him, who's gaining up ground right now, but I believe Domingo has some damage on that car.
Yeah, Domingo has some damage on that car from that incident at the bus stop chicane a few laps ago. He was caught up, not able to avoid the spinning cars of Baja and Burns. Elbrink's still down in 16th position. He's 5 seconds behind Baja. And it looks like he's got some damage on that car because that gap is only increasing. As we've got some moves being made here. It looks like Pietila has gone deep into the bus stop chicane, and that's allowed Lindstrom to take 3rd place. Samborski will be liking the look of this.
Let's get a replay at that. Eric Lindstrom, he had a massive gap in front of him and behind him. It's right on board through this bus stop chicane. Oh,
it's a big lock up there from Pietila, and he's gone straight on at the bus stop, and he's lost a lot of time there. And 3rd position as they come up the hill. He's gonna have a great exit up the hill, and he's gonna take that 3rd place right back.
Even
Roll
with DRS, Lindstrom cannot stay ahead of Piatella. You see Samborski just sitting behind this, waiting to pounce on any opportunity that he can. Smart driving from the American driver. Getting used to seeing him up there in the top 5.
He's definitely making a name for himself in this series. He's closing in on Pietro as they come down through Puon. Pietro's exit's not that great. He's run a bit wide. And Lindstrom's going to definitely have a look as they come up the hill towards Blanchimont a bit later in the lap. He's getting oh so close to that Formula car of Pietro. And he's building a bit of a gap behind Samborski, half a second behind. He's going to be definitely having a look as well.
I'm trying to see if one of the drivers is in trouble with off tracks, because on our off track counter, which is not the official iRacing incident counter, it's showing Longa having 17 off track points. And that's a drive-through penalty around here.
Yes.
Once again, ours is not directly with iRacing. Ours is using our own GPS points.
Yeah, and it's especially easy here at Spa. The track limits are very strict. And like you said, 17 incident points, with some drivers having a couple of 4Xs in there from those earlier collisions. It's going to be interesting to see, because very easy to get off tracks here at Spa. That's a 1X and 17 of those incident points, and you're going for a drive-through penalty. And I'm sure we'll be seeing some of those today.
That is absolutely disastrous, especially for Longa, who is in second place. And the Spa pits are very difficult to get in and exit as well, and very slow.
Yeah, it's a really tight entry. You've got walls on both sides. It's very easy to mess it up. And also on the exit really doesn't do you any favors as well, because you have slow all the way down through a Rouge and up along the Camel Straight as well. It's very easy to lose a lot of positions.
We are using the Grand Prix pits, not the GT pits.
Oh yeah, I was just meaning like your exit out of the source will be faster.
Yes.
I see.
Looking at Calvo, who is sitting in 6th place right now. He's up 4 spots from where he qualified, and currently sitting pretty in 6th place, top 10 spot. Good for him. He's getting closed in by Crouch, though. And Crouch, one of the biggest movers. Oh, he just passed Crouch. Oh, Longa looking down the inside of Dalal, but Dalal, he's got the speed on the outside. Who's going to be the last late breakers here at La Source? Longa is just going to sneak ahead of Dalal right there and retake the lead here at Spa.
Looks like he's made a move into the bus stop chicane, and it's probably one of the best overtaking spots on the circuit. That and Lacombe, as we see Tim Dalal now right on the gearbox. He pulls out to the outside and retake that first position. But can Longa take some of that draft and have a look around the outside into Lacombe?
These two are scrapping so hard, and Dalal very early braking, letting Longa sail right through right there. Oh, that was very sketchy.
Obviously, these two being teammates, it could have been orchestrated as well. They obviously don't want to take each other out of the race. That's the last thing that they'd be wanting. 1-2 looking very good on the cards as we just coming towards the halfway point in the race. As Paul Ilbrink heads into the pit lane, he has some damage from a previous incident, and I'm not sure if he's going to just be retiring from the race or if he's going to just fix the damage and continue.
Tim Dalal just sitting behind Longa. I believe that may have been done strategy-wise. to keep him in the draft and set him up for a ending run, since he realized on how fast he is through the entire first 2 sectors compared to him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mute point trying to overtake before the camel straight, because there's so much draft and you can use DRS to make that move really easy. So overtaking into somewhere like the source is not really a great idea, because you're just going to get that position taken straight back off of you by the car you just overtook.
Let's see if Delisle tries to go for the overtake again and then let Longa back by. And Longa diving down almost into the GP pits, which is actually, you can jump in there if you drive into that wall fast enough. Or accidentally.
We'll see as he comes behind. He's 7/10 back. Is Delisle, and not sure if he's going to be close enough to make a move.
No, they're actually pulling away, because Longa and Delisle, both of them on DRS, and both of them with the same draft, but Delisle not the best exit through El Rouge and Radion.
Can't help but think if maybe Longa's slightly faster than Delisle, and maybe they're trying to use this as an opportunity to build up a bit of a gap to Pietrle in third.
Well, he's got to watch the off tracks, though. He is close on the edge.
And he's not holding back, is he? Running a bit wide, pull on there as well. It's very easy to get off tracks here at Spa, and that could ruin someone's race very, very easily.
Yeah, we might see a black flag come out here very soon if he keeps this up. Maybe Delisle is trying to get in his head and force Longa into some mistakes.
Yeah, they have been battling for a while. Maybe he's noticed him go off track a few times, or maybe he's gone off track a few times as well. Maybe they're just trying to be a bit conservative, as they have got just over 8 laps left of this race.
Only time will tell in the closing laps here at Spa for the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here on Apex Racing TV.
And we have a look at Ronaldo Augusto getting closed in by Crouch, just not close enough to make a move into the bus stop chicane. But we'll see if he can get a run through Rouge and Radion and see if he can make a move up into Le Com. And he looks like he's just fallen back a little bit.
It was a great exit though by him. He went from a second back to gaining 3/10, and he's stuck in the draft of Augusto. And depends on his run through El Rouge and Radion. Buried in that draft, how fast he's going to close up on him. It's actually pulling away because Augusto has activated DRS.
Also seen Pietrle run wide there at the exit of Le Com, and Longa there setting the fastest lap of the race so far. Last time by was a 2 minutes and 73 hundredths of a second, which is just faster than Pietrle's previous fastest time by 300ths of a second. We have a look at Fernandez now, getting closed in by Domingo. So our field is spreading out just a little bit.
Yeah, the field's starting to spread out and show the real battles and get a bit calmer as it is. But I can tell you what's not calm. This battle for 13th right now. Burns and Baja battling out for 14th place as they head side by side through Village. And what a move by Baja.
That was a fantastic move, but we'll see if Burns can make a comeback up the hill towards Blanchimod and the bus stop chicane. Gap just 4 seconds. Will any of the drivers use DRS?
Well, he's going to have the draft, definitely.
Yeah, that gap ever closing as they move side by side. He moves to the outside, forced to the outside, as they go side by side into the bus stop chicane. And it looks like Baja is just gonna sneak his nose and keep it ahead
That was a great defensive hold by Baja, swinging all the way down to the inside line and forcing Burns to not send it right there. That is racing with your car and defending with your car at the same time.
Yeah, but he's going to have a great run on Baja. Here's Theodore Burns, the driver from Illinois, and he's going to make it move so easily. A great run out of Rouge and Radion, but he's going to have to defend now, weaving on the Camel Straight.
Trying to shake him free.
Oh! Very close into Lecom. They're almost touching. And Burns manages to make the move stick.
Baja is going for that car and that gap whenever he can. If it's open, he is going to take it, just like Ayrton Senna once said. If you see a gap and you no longer go for it, you are no longer a racing driver, and he is definitely a racing driver.
We see Burns go off track there. Gonna have to watch out for that as Baja looks to the inside, the village. He's gonna have to hold it around the outside of the left-hander, and he does so. And they're still side by side as they come round. And
oh
no! Contact.
Baja goes off. Burns and Baja connect at the end of the corner. It's a very weird exit. Baja trying to go for his Baja going from the inside to the outside, and Burns going from the outside to the inside. They make contact on the nose and back right tire of the car, and that is extremely unfortunate between the two.
Yeah, Burns just went for the old switchback, and he's just mistimed it and misjudged it slightly and just touched the rear of Baja, and that sent him spinning out into the gravel. We can get a replay here as they come side by side through village. And at this
you can
point,
see on how tight they're racing, running on board Theodore Burns is
looks like he wasn't expecting Baja to be so slow out of the exit. It's like Baja didn't get a great exit, and Burns was just caught out a bit by it.
That's just hard to close racing right there. No one's really to blame. They both did crossover moves on each other, so it's kind of inviting that to happen. The outside move would have the better exit, but the inside move would have the better entry into the corner. And, well, opposites attract, and unfortunately they attract in the worst way between the two.
We just saw Nicogosian there making a lovely move around the outside of Lecom on Rob Bohr. And he's managed to increase that gap up to 6-7 tenths here as they come to Bohr, and he's made a great move and managed to make it stick. It doesn't look like Bohr's going to have an opportunity to pass him back straight away as our leaders come up the hill of Blanchimont. You can see Jose Langer. He's got a massive gap to Tim Delisle. It's really huge there. 2 seconds now is the gap between the two drivers, and he crosses the start finish line in a moment. He will give us 5 more laps to go in this race.
5 laps to go here at Spa. 5 very long, excruciating, needs to be millimeter perfect here at Spa to stay ahead of Tim Delisle and stay on the track, as he is skating closer and closer to getting a drive-through penalty if he's not ready.
As we near the end of the race, it's going to be really important that these drivers make 0 mistakes. We saw last season Delisle making a mistake that allowed Pinsker to run away with the lead, and 1 mistake can cost you your entire race here if you go and get a drive-through penalty here at the closing stages of the race. As we have a look at the rear of the field, Bohr looked like he was making a move on Nicogossia, but it looks like it's just not worked out for him.
Rob Bohr actually sideways at the start of this race, trying to recover right now. He's returned back to where he qualified and then 1 place up in 13th, but we knowing him, he always wants to keep going ahead, and he's trying to close in on Nico Ziasen. And thank you for subscribing to Apex Racing TV, Thiago Luis and Diego Bernandez. We always enjoy y'all's support. And James Pacer is heading into the pits. I believe this is to retire.
Yeah, he's down in 17th place, laps down from the top 14. You see him shifting from first to second and back again. Gives you a bit of a speed boost as you go into the pit lane.
Oh,
And we'll see if
actually
he
taking the pit stop.
It looks like he is just taking a pit stop there.
Is he going for the fastest lap?
Oh,
he's going to retort directly in front of the leaders. I think he's going for the fastest lap of the race.
That is not a sight that Lango wants to see. He doesn't want to see the car of James J. Pinkston in front of him. Because if he catches up to the British driver, it's only going to slow him down. He's just 2 seconds ahead of Delisle. And that could make the difference between him winning and losing this race, as we see Pinsker in the foreground.
Well, remember, Pacer's got newer tires, so he's going to have the grip. They're currently cold right now, but he's going to have the grip, low fuel, so I wouldn't really be worried about him if I was Longa. I would just be worried about the effect of possible dirty air behind it, but Pacer's already pulled off a 3-second gap, and it's increasing now and now.
Just looking at the live timing feed, I've just seen 5 drivers go off track, and I've been seeing it all race, and it's really interesting to see how many times they're going off track. I know it's easy to get off tracks at Spa, but surprised we haven't seen more drivers getting drive-through penalties and such.
Once you notice you have a drive-through penalty really close to it, you start driving very conservatively. And that's what's probably causing the field to separate just a little bit. All these aggressive drivers that we have maybe realize, okay, I'm a bit close enough to getting a drive-through penalty. We got a car stopped on track. That is Theodore Burns going slow, and he's got a lot of damage on that car.
It looks like he's maybe spun coming out of No Name Corner and hit the back end of that car into a wall pretty hard. Oh, he's just lost it. That's a massive impact to the wall there on the outside. And it's very easy to do in these cars. Once you lose it, he's just overcorrected a little bit. And that is him into the wall. And that is his competitive race over.
Yeah, Burns.
Crabbing.
Yeah, he's got spin
right to actually just keep in a straight line.
These ending corners is going to be very hard for him. And I want to say thank you for subscribing to Apex Racing TV, Joe Mikadori. Sorry for messing up your name. Which I probably did.
See, not too many battles happening here. Drivers all spreading out as we come towards the last 3 laps of this race. As we see Burns entering the pit lane there on the track map on the right hand side. And it's a real shame for him. Let's have a look at James J. Pinsker's lap times. His last lap was his out lap for 2:22. It'll be interesting to see. He's coming up the hill now. It'll be interesting to see what his lap times are for his first hot lap. If you are correct, and he is going for the fastest lap of the race.
His second sector was purple, so I'm not going to be surprised this goes fastest, because remember his qualifying, he was up there near Tim Delisle and everyone, but the fastest lap so far of this race is a 2:08.7. Pinksker sets in a 2:36, new fastest lap of the race.
It looks like you were right then, Austin. That's a pretty quick lap.
That was a fantastic lap. He's going to be happy about that, getting fastest lap of the race. You know, just pat the stats, winning at least one category.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll tell you another category he's going to win in. Looks like the number of pit stops.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be happy about that number, though.
He's the only driver so far to have pitted twice in this race.
Yeah,
And,
the first time was to recover from damage after being flipped. And then sent it to the wall.
It also looks like Burns is out of this race with terminal damage, which is a shame. Saw some good battles from him today. So we see Exposito and Fernandez having a little bit of a scrap here. They're going to have 2 more laps. This is the penultimate lap of the race for these drivers. They're not. Fernandez isn't going to have many more opportunities to overtake Exposito.
Yeah, Fernandez is burying that nose into the gearbox, and his move to go is coming up. And I can guarantee that is going to be on the Colonel Straight, where he's lining up this eventual move of his. I must say, I love Fernandez's paint scheme.
It is good, isn't it? As we can see it now. It's a great camera angle. Pinsker sets another fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 2:24.
Fernandez looking around the outside.
Looking at a move. The door was shut firmly in his face by Exposito. Is he going to have a look into the bus stop chicane?
He's actually going to brake earlier and set himself up for the exit and the run-up. This is big brain plays because we are on the last lap here at Spa.
White flag here at Spa, and I think he's just biding his time until he can get to the top of the hill at Radion and make a move into the Carvis. The one and only real overtaking spot left. And if he can get a good middle sector, then that bus stop chicane isn't going to be an option either. We'll see now. It looks like no DRS being used by either of the drivers.
I think both of them used their maximum allowance. Fernandez went down the inside, switched back to the outside, and Exposito held him off just by staying right there. Fernandez not going to be happy about that, so he's going to be very, very aggressive. Get those elbows out and try to go punching your way up there. As there was just a car that retired in front of them because they're up in 10th and 9th place now. This is Renault Augusto ahead of him. Let's look home. Oh! I saw some tire tracks out there earlier, but I was wondering where that was from. I thought that was from the earlier cross, but no, that must have just happened.
So that is why Exposito and Fernandez are up there.
And taking the
win
win here today is Jose Langa with a great fight, a great battle. Moved up 3 spots to take the win ahead of Tim DeLisle and Marti Piatella in 3rd place. Your podium here today, but the battle's not over out on track. Exposito and Fernandez heading into the bus stop chicane. It's do or die right now for Fernandez. He's taking a very wide line, and oh, too much speed right there, and he's going to lose out spots to Nico Cyan. And Bohr, if he's not careful, it's a race to the line. It's going to be Fernandez ahead of Bohr in 12th. That just went from bad to worse for Fernandez.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. Just pushing just a bit too hard, trying to make up that 10th position. And unfortunately, his mistake has cost him. He managed to stay ahead of Bohr, but that's not what he would want from the end of this race. As we see the last few drivers coming to finish this race, we've got Christopher Herbano and James Pinsker still to finish the race.
I think Pacer is, well, he's doing this lap at his own pace right now. Because he's not pushing it at all. Was I said that he just set his personal best for sector 3, so count me. Nope, he's weaving. I think he's saying hi to the crowd right now.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself. It wasn't a great race for him, but he's gonna set the fastest lap of the race. I think he's doing this just to get some camera time. He spent most of his time at the back of the field in this race.
I remember Painter went out qualifying once when nobody on the field was qualifying. He just did donuts around the entire track before. So he's a showman, I must say that. But he does have the fastest lap of the race himself. Painter finishes in 16th after a very, very grueling start. And Paul Ilbrink is still out there on track. And I think Paul is just finishing out the race in the 18 laps because the results are up. And Dane, I'm going to let you read through these.
Oh, thank you, Austin. We've got Langer taking home the victory. We've got his teammate Tim Delisle in second place, Marty Pietala in third. We've got Edward A. Samborski in fourth, Erka Lindstrom in fifth, Rob Crouch in sixth, Manuel Domingo in seventh, Ronaldo Augusto in eighth, Jorge Esposito in 9th. We've got Nico Gossian in 10th, Omar Baja in 11th. We've got Calvo in 12th, Fernandez in 13th. After that unfortunate spin at the end, we've got Rob Bohr in 14th, Christopher Urbano in 15th, James J. Pinsker with the fastest lap in 16th, and Paul Ilbrink in 17th, as we see Paul Ilbrink having a bit of trouble finding the pit entrance. We've got Theodore Burns 3 laps behind in 18th after that unfortunate incident involving a wall. And we've got Genemeyer in 19th and Phil Reed in 20th. Neither of those drivers finished this race.
With Greg Olson at the very back of the grid, who was involved in that starting collision at La Source. So overall, a very exciting race, like always here at Spa. Chaotic at times, but very, very hard fought for the win for the drivers up front. Dane, some highlights of the race.
Definitely the start. We had a lot of moves made at the start of this race, and some incidents throughout the field. Obviously that main one, massive one involving Greg Olson. Still would like to see what happened there, but it's very unfortunate for him. We've seen some pretty great racing throughout the field, unfortunate incidents as well, but really enjoyed this race.
I really enjoyed this race too, and I can't wait for next week. But first, I believe we have some drivers ready for interviews. I was waiting for our race winner, but let's bring him in right now. Tim Delisle is with us. He finished second after a close fight, and then with Jose, but unfortunately couldn't close the deal. Tim, how was that race?
Scary. Just the mix of medium downforce and high downforce setups that people were running. It's just terrifying. Like, going into this race, I of course wanted to win, but I was just aiming for a top 3 because I knew it was going to be high SOF, lots of points on offer. Yeah, and it was just about surviving those first few laps. So in the end, happy enough with P2 because Jose was quicker today.
Yeah, at the end of the Colonel Straight, you broke very early to let him by. Was that on? I believe that was on purpose, right? And was that just a moment that you're just like, you can just have this, I don't want to risk it?
Yeah, so we hadn't discussed anything before the race, so, you know, it's sort of racing, but I just figured, you know, last week, was it last week? I don't know, Road America, whatever, when
Yes.
I was fighting with Marty, we, you know, we lost a lot of time and let Paul back into the race, and we had a pretty decent gap behind us, but I just didn't want that to happen again, so I thought he was quicker, I'd let him by and try to stick in his slipstream, and he was just too quick. He pulled out of the gap, and then my DRS usage was pretty terrible today. I only had 3 uses left after the first 5 laps because I used 2 on lap 1 before the end of Kemmel Straight because pole is the worst place to start here, and yeah, then other times, like, I used it and I thought I was catching him, but I just made a few mistakes at the end there. So, yeah, I was pushing too hard and he was too quick.
So what you're saying, it's Mercedes 2014 at Bahrain, and your team manager decided, came over and say, bring both of the cars home today.
Yeah, it was just a decision I made in the heat of the moment. You know, it's a long championship. Just want to get the points because I don't know if we'll have an SOF this high for the rest of the season. And, you know, no point fighting. We've seen a lot of netcode incidents this season and last season. So, yeah, just let the quicker guy by, try to stick with him, see if he makes any mistakes, but he didn't. So, yeah, happy with how it all turned out in the end. He deserved it.
Well, like always, thank you, Tim. Second place in a 5.1 strength of field race. I would be happy about that in every single situation. So congrats on that. It's a podium. Before we let you go, anyone who want to shout out?
Yeah, just the team, Positive Sim Racing. Congrats to Jose again for the win. Not sure what happened to Greg, so I'll have to go back and watch that, but that's a shame. And yeah, just you guys for the coverage.
All right, thank you, Tim. You have yourselves a good day.
Thanks, guys.
And Dane, I believe you're standing by with Mr. Edward A. Samborski.
Yeah, we've got Edward A. Samborski in the commentary booth with us. Edward, how was that race for you from your perspective?
Absolutely wild. There was a chaos at the start, and luckily I made it through. It's unfortunate for people that were involved in the incidents. And then towards the middle of the race, I found a groove, and I thought I was going to pull out a gap on Erica, but that just did not transpire, and he was right back on me. I had a few mistakes. He caught me back up, and I was on pins and needles. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was using DRS through the kink, and I'll tell you what, it's not the best idea, but it worked.
Yeah, it's always tricky to use DRS around some corners. It's very easy to just lose the back end, but you're now second place in the driver's standings after that fourth place finish. So fourth place wasn't the worst finish that you've had. You managed to gain quite a few places in this race. You gained 7 in this race. How did you get past all of those drivers?
I don't want to sound arrogant, but just trying to be smart and using DRS to my advantage and trying to position myself in a place where I can have limited negative outcomes. Myself and Rob at the start of the race, we were on the same team, Downforce Racing, so we just kind of made a pact that whoever was faster would just stay out front and we'd try to go forward. And then with the melee in I think it was turn 2, that kind of got thrown out the window, but it was it was good. They just tried to make as least mistakes as possible. I still had a few moments, but it's racing, those things happen.
Yeah, those things do happen. You took advantage of those things happening very well. Next week up we have Donington, the Grand Prix circuit. How are you looking forward to that one?
I actually really like Donington. I don't consider myself especially fast at it, but I think it's very fun to drive. It's very challenging. It's when you first look at the circuit, you think, no big deal, a couple of hairpins and whatnot, but the off camber and the hill crests and whatnot make it really fun in the car, because you have this false sense of security that you just have all the grip in the world, and you hit the crest of a hill and you're like, oh, yep, no I don't, it's a GT car. So I personally think it's fun.
Yeah, I love Donington as well. It's got to be one of my favorite British tracks. I think that's it. If there's anyone you want to shout out, now's your opportunity.
I'll shout out Downforce Racing. I love the livery. Been having a good run with them so far, so you can't complain. And I actually changed internet company, so I'll thank them because they didn't drop out today. I was paranoid about that. And other than that, I'll thank iRacing again, because I've seen the most people on the service that I've seen since I joined however many years ago. We were tipping the scales at like 15.2 when I logged on for the race.
Yeah, I saw that as well. We've had some crazy numbers. We got just under 15,000 drivers logged in at this point in time, and it's really great to see sim racing community really build during this tough time around the world. But thanks for the time and great race out there.
Thank you. I was a little nervous at the start. I was like, oh man, I'm slow, but you know, things transpired, so I'll take it. Last time we were here, I took a interesting ride through a rouge going the wrong direction, so I kept it pointed the right way today, so progress.
I remember that as well. As we just saw on screen, you managed to scramble through that incident on, I think it was lap 5, but yeah, great race, and over to you, Austin.
Thank you.
Great race from everyone indeed. Next week, we're going to be at Donington Park for another wonderful round here for the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. I've been joined by Sammy Kumo in the booth, giving you all these wonderful graphics. Dane Baird in the commentary box with me, and I'm Austin Knight, wishing y'all a good night.